Dragon Link player ends up starting off with quick launch Chain Lubellion, summons out the Tracer, searches out the Bestial Saranir. Then he's gonna link summon for the Tracer into the Striker. There's a little bit of a glare, but that's definitely a Striker. He searches out the Boot Sector. Shout out to Steve, very well seasoned player with Dragon Link especially. We just had him on the channel actually to do his deck profile. So if you want to see the Dragon Link deck profile, it is on the channel. Ugh. Can also switch over my camera now. We're back to good camera, guys. So he goes Romulus. He's going really fast with his combos just because he's very much seasoned with the deck, so he's just blasting through it. Not scared of Cash. I'm not scared of Cash. Cash is a fake deck. So he goes into Dissipator and also ended up summoning out the Romulus. He's just doing his thing now. Dragon Link things. He does have Branded Regain on the field too, which helps him kind of recur that Dissipator and allows him to like summon out Lubellion if he wants. Then he ends on Seals plus Dissipator plus the Regained. And ends up using a second Regained here, which 2 Regained isn't the worst because you can use both effects. So I'm going to draw for turn. At this point, what I'm looking for is like an Albaz in hand to kind of contact fuse off his Dissipator. That's always the plan against Dragon decks. So I'm just going to keep drawing. I don't have an Allure at this point, so I just need to draw cards. And I know he doesn't have a negate for the Allure, so I'm just going to draw off of the Allure and hope to kind of... That's kind of the point of the whole 6-card build. You filter through the deck. I draw a Mercurier that's really good. He could negate the Mercurier here too, which I believe he's going to do right now with the Dissipator, because if he spins back a banished card on my side of the field, it does negate the effect, so that's going to get rid of the Mercurier, which is fair, but I'm still, I guess, card neutral at this point, so that's like not the best, I guess, like use of Dissipator. He just said he wanted to stop me from getting to kit to get the Branded Fusion, which is understandable. I do think we could have maybe waited, but if you wait too long against Branded, you end up waiting too long. If you end up waiting too long against Branded, you won't be able to do anything anyway. He does have a Druiswarm plus Saranir in hand, though, so I do know he has lots of Bestials, so I have to play this carefully. I do send the Albaz off of the Shrouded Dragon. I think we're actually gonna speed this up because it's actually quite slow. And then right here, I'm going to go into Talents since he's already used an effect. I'm going to go Talents to take the Dissipator. And then he chains the Seals because I could also just take the Seals. But taking the Dissipator here, you guys are going to see, is just entirely crazy. And then Dissipator is going to be... I'm just checking the effect because here he used... Dissipator's negate effect, but I'm gonna get a negate off of Dissipator too because of how the ruling works. It's basically the copy, it checks the player that owned the copy of Dissipator essentially. So if it's a new player, essentially counts as you can use Dissipator's effect again. I'm gonna go normal summon Cartesia and then chain High Spirits, discarding the Albaz. He does have the Brotar to search out another Bestial. But I'm gonna send out the Titanclad, which is always like the best thing you want to do going second, in my opinion, in terms of High Spirits. It's why High Spirits can also be a board breaker in Branded, because you are also just sending Titanclad to the graveyard. And then I'm going to go normal summon Quem. I do go a special summon Cartesia, apparently. And then Quem's going to send the Retribution. And Retribution just here to get me a plus, since I do have the kit. Which is going to get rid of another card in my hand. So I just need more card advantage at that point. So Retribution makes it so I can get another discard. I'm going to chain then the Retribution to get the High Spirits, and then also send the Albaz off of Branded Fusion. And I'm going to get the Albion. Albion's going to be able to trigger. We're kind of looking to OTK him at this point. And especially, like, the Dissipator's so good here because it gives me a monster effect negate. So I already check one of the Bestials in his hand. So I'm working on being able to check the second, or at least be able to put on enough damage in order to get past the 5 or the 2 Bestials. I go into the Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. I'm kind of checking my graveyard at this point, or I'm laying it out for him. I do have the Lubellion in the graveyard, but my zones are pretty locked up, so getting to Branded Loss is going to be very annoying. So at this point, I just have to go into the Mirror Jade. And he does go into Magnamut effect, which I'm like, I was thinking about negating that, but there is really no point because I don't want to use one of my negates on anything that wouldn't stop the OTK. And I put Dissipator in attack position, which is 3,500. That definitely, that's why if you're able to talents take a Dissipator, you are probably winning the game, because that card you can revive. It's also a negate for you. Like, if we could always make Dissipator, the card would be crazy for our deck. That's why Branded Synchro is so good. They get to make Dissipator on the regular, and he's going to go Saronir targeting. And at this point, he goes starting to target the Lubellion. And then he goes Banishment to put to the bottom to draw a card. Then I go Albion, Redeclare to destroy the Magnamut. Always remember to Redeclare, guys. It's kind of tricky with the Bestials in the battle phase, because they can just chain so much, and then you're like, oh, attack with new monster. Oh, I forgot I attacked already. So he has the 1 Saronir. I go Mirror Jade effect, banish the Saronir so he doesn't get a float, and he does have... I have enough damage on board to go for game at this point, and I give him back the Dissipator. Now we're going to go into game 2. Thanks for subscribing, Runzid. GZ1K, oh, why do you have the LP when you don't change it? That's a good point. But it's... I mean, I was intending to change it. It just ends up being that I can't most of the time. 2% too much? What do you mean? I'm on 60 in Nadir right now. It works so well in grass. Hell yeah, in wild. You'll have to post your deck list. So we are about to hit the roasting goal. So I want to see all your guys' deck list. We're at 28 likes right now. Once we hit 30 likes, we will be able to roast deck list. If we hit 50 likes, I will do the combos. It's either 50 likes or we hit the 5 channel members. So guys, make sure to leave a like on the stream if you have not already. So I end up siding into, I believe, Phantasme, which is pretty good against a Link deck, and some Bestials, because if I can take him off a Magnamut, it's really good. I do draw 2 Bestials in this hand, which is pretty good. Or 1 Bestial. I draw 1 Bestial plus evenly. And he goes Striker off a Tracer, and now Striker is going to get Boot Sector. He can't even search it. I think he opens Boot Sector, but then he chains Magnamut. I chain my own Magnamut. Banish the Lubellion. It makes his plays a lot more awkward because he has to banish his Lubellion. Now he goes into Romulus. He has to get into another Lubellion graveyard. And now I'm getting a body off the Magnamut. So this is just like showing you guys why Magnamut is just one of your best cards going second against any light or dark based strategy. It just giving you the body plus the pressure is just way too big. He ends up ending on Romulus. Plus he goes into the Pisty, goes into the Collapse Serpent. So he, after resolving Chaos Space, so Chaos Space, you know, he's definitely not out of the game after I Magnamutted him. If you see Chaos Space, I think you're usually in a really good position as a Dragon Link player, no matter what. He goes into the Rocket Recharger Dragon, and which is after also resolving the Ravine. It's a really good card. It helps extend and just like facilitate some follow-up plays for his deck. So I know it's not always random Dragon Link strategies, but he kind of explained it in the deck profile if you guys want to see it. He ends up going into Seals, and then he goes into Run MD, and then goes into Brotar. I think he's pretty hesitant on making Borreload anymore against me, the Link Borreload. It's that card is really tricky against my deck, so it is something where I don't blame you if you end up not really putting it against my deck or making it against me. I think he had to go back on a play there. So if you saw him like retake the cards, I was just like, that's fine. We're at locals. Like I'm not. If you want to do a take back and it did not affect the game state and it was just like the last play or two, like I'm not going to say no, but you have to ask me. You know. Uh, and me and Steve are boys. So and he ends up ending on seals plus IP. I do search out a Albaz so I can get the contact fuse going. I don't know if the Albaz search was that good though. But I did search the Albaz, though, because obviously Alba Lineatus gives me an out for the IP and whatever he would summon. So I go search the Bestial Lubellion here, which is going to obviously end up getting the Bestial Saronir. Since I already have the Magnemite in rotation. And I do, he does go called by on the Lubellion, though, which is pretty good. You guys are going to, and I go Allure here. His board's actually quite modest, but my hand is really full of normal summons, unfortunately. And also I misplay here. I have Evenly. I should have went for Evenly. I fumble this game too. I could have won game 2 if I just went Evenly. I saw a hand. I was like, oh, I can play through his board because but no. You guys are going to see it kind of bites me in the ass. So I'm going to go deployment. And then I go High Spirits, pitching the Saronir plus the Titaniclad to get the Spring Ends kit. And then I'm going to pitch off a Saronir. And at this point, is definitely unfortunate kind of how I ended up playing this. Because if I went Evenly, I literally just force his whole board here. So it is kind of unfortunate that I kind of fumble this bag. It's almost like not even worth to show this whole game because of that. But we do go game 3, and this is where I kind of make up for this. Because you see I kind of... Because he has a Magnemite, which I knew he searched, so he banishes my only Albaz, so I'm not only able to make something subpar in that, because I can make the Boral, and Boral's pretty good against him. But he obviously has multiple outs for it between the IP and then the seals. So I think just not going into the Evenly is what really hurt me. I go Thrust here, but Thrust isn't going to be able to really get me a whole lot. So I think I do Thrust for Talents at this point. Maybe it's Talents. But he goes IP Bash. It's kind of unfortunate into SP. I'm just trying to see how I ended up losing this game. Because I'm still on like such advantage where like I put Titanclad and Albion plus the SP. And then he goes banishes the Cartesia. And then I have to fuse off the Boral, which I could have just fused off. Oh no, because he's going IP banish the Boral, so I have to chain it now unless I want the Boral banish. I'm like, oh, I can summon it back off a Sanctifier, so I don't really want to banish. And then I have Stepelia plus Kit, and my board gets a lot worse than I attack over the IP, but I have such a big graveyard, and he goes into Absolute. Maybe I don't even lose this game right here, honestly. The more I'm looking at it, I'm like, my graveyard's loaded. There's not a huge reason for me to lose here. And then I attack over. He searches the Retracer. He does have follow-up, though. And then we'll... Oh, yeah, I actually think I do win this game. But you guys see that Stepelia is really good. Like Stepelia is really good in this kind of context. So I search out the High Spirits because then I can go end phase High Spirits. Because then I can go Quem, Sending... Albaz, which gets me the Albaz and Graveyard plus Cartesia. I can set the Branded in red. And now I can go High Spirits to go Quem target. Or no. Or do I do it as a discard fodder? Because I could go... I'm like thinking here if I want... No, I already did High Spirits, right? So I can't do High Spirits here. So I don't know what I'm saying I'm thinking. But I do have 2 back row plus the Stepelia plus Quem. So I'm looking pretty good, all things considered. Like, this looks like a gimmick lock from here. Unless he has like 2 Bestials, which he is going to be able to search one off of... Yeah, he searches a Druis off the Magnemite, which is probably the one place I go wrong. And then he goes into the rocket. And yeah, so I think my issue here is that he had 2 bestials. So like having the 2 bestials in rotation is really tough sometimes, even like when you have like full combo. So this is why like I should have established branded lost. I should have went evenly matched. Like either of these things end up playing through the bestials. But we kind of just have to deal with what we do. I go duplication. There's not a whole lot to do here. I end up scooping, guys. So I'm gonna end up scooping. Like you guys, I'll show you guys because we don't have a huge amount of time here, and I just like want to be able to get a game in. We have like 13 minutes left. I'm like, if he keeps going, we're gonna have like 5 minutes left for our last game. I'm pretty sure I'm in a losing position here. You have to know when to scoop sometimes. That's always a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, especially with time rules. You just have to like see a losing board state when you see one. Know a losing board state when you see one. And I misplayed twice. So like that's what happened. I love high spirits lately. I run 3, hell yeah. Forbidden is not worth it to run anymore, says Anastasio. Forget to mention that I'm new to this deck tomorrow, but it's going to be my first locals with branded. That's awesome, bro. Good luck. I'd love to see which build you're bringing. I'd say Droplet's still fine. Like, you guys saw me run Droplet in my last deck profile. But I think there's better options. So I draw Lubellion High Spirits Grass. So you guys see I'm already off to an insane start. My opening hand says I do not lose the game. So that's kind of where we're going with this game 3. You guys know I could have made this a game 2. We caught the misplay, so it's definitely good to like be able to analyze where we went wrong. So I'm gonna mill 20 cards now. And I end up milling nothing, but then I mill Shrouded Dragon, Sarnier, Albaz, Cartesia. I mill White, Lost, Albaz. And the Lost sucks if I don't have another way to do it or get back. But I mill 1 red. I mill a Shiren. So now Shiren's going to be able to make... Because I have so many Albions and Albazes, since Albion counts as a Albaz card in the graveyard, I'm able, or an Albaz in the graveyard, I can use it to make Lubellion and then Mirror Jade. I also then go Sarnier, send the Retribution to recur the branded in red. Or no, we mill branded fusion, so I can recur the branded fusion. So I just go into Lubellion automatically because I still have Shrouded and Albaz, so I can very easily make Mirror Jade. And this is where I think a lot of people are like, where are the good mills with Shiren, my friend? Or where are the good fusion material or fusions with Shiren? My friend, Mirror Jade exists. You know, like Shiren makes Mirror Jade, which means, yes, guys, you can make other monsters besides Mirror Jade off a branded fusion. This is true. So I make them. Yeah, I go Retribution, target, branded fusion after making Mirror Jade. I'm just at this point, if he, like, obviously if he had a Bestial there, he could have stopped that play, but then I still have Branded Fusion through the grass, so still a lot of advantage. The only thing is I need to get a Tragedy in graveyard to get Lost back in rotation. So, like, running grass and, like, running Desires makes me want to run 2 Branded Lost sometimes. It really does. Yeah, we are going to get the opening here. Because I do have the Mirror Jade, which can then proc the Queb, worst case. But I'm probably just going to go Branded Fusion here, obviously. And then proc the Queb, get the Cartesia. And if I can do Quem here, I can always end on Cartesia. That's also, like, the nice part about going Quem in your main phase versus your end phase. It means that you don't have to summon Cartesia off your Quem on your opponent's turn, which is actually a huge thing, in my opinion. Because then Quem can summon Mirror Jade, you know? Like, I think that's a really high value thing to do. Plan to nib a little bit more, but you don't die to nib with branded. So we're gonna go branded, brand fusion, make an Albion, not send the Lubellion, and then we get the banish the Sarnier plus the Albaz in the graveyard, which, you know, free materials off the grass. Now I get to keep an Albaz in the graveyard for follow-up. Like I mentioned, that's a really important thing. And then we go into Boral load. So I have currently Mirror Jade plus Boral, which on the normal branded on board it is minus this Boral. So Shiren just got me a free Boral, right? That's essentially what that is. Or made the Mirror Jade aspect of it very free. And you could have done the same line and gotten branded loss. I just obviously milled it and had no way to recur it. Which is definitely not great. But you need brand loss to win. Strawberry Nesquik, how's it going, bro? Nice to see you in the chat again, brother. Saw you in stream the other time. Abdo says Lost is the second best card and branded after branded fusion, so he puts it to 2 in his deck. I don't know who Abdo is, but I think he's right. I think if they ban branded Lost, actually, that would be a good enough hit against Pop-Up. It would be a really harsh hit, though, the branded. Alright, so then I go into Grand Guignol here. Grand Guignol is going to send the Puppet. I do have to hand down a card. So if he just has Bestial here, he's going to hit the Puppet. But, like, I kind of skill checked him on the Bestial with the Shiren, right? He would have Bestialed the Shiren, so I felt really safe sending the Puppet here. Abdo is the best Master Duel branded player. What makes him the best Master Duel branded player? By which metrics? I'm just curious. So we're going to go Branded in red on his turn. Not under Lost. If we were under Lost, this board was just so cracked. But now we're just going to go Sanctifier and Quem. Or no, we're going to go just Sanctifier targeting Puppet. And he does chain Recharger here. Doesn't have the Bestial. Did not top deck the Bestial. He probably like drew Lubellion or something. And so I'm able to get this successful Puppet lock off. And that's basically game right there. I mean, like, there's nothing really else to do. Yeah, he does have a Lubellion. He's going to get a name and then regain, set a card, and then I'm going to be able to go to his turn and be able to just break his board, go Mirror Jade, Quem effect targeting, I guess, Cartesia. I probably should have just targeted the Albaz, if I'm being honest, and then just fused off as one monster. Like the Puppet. There's not a whole lot else to summon at this point. Yeah, we'll at this point there's like 3 minutes left, so I just wanted to get in damage here. I don't think I have complete game here. I could have worked on being... oh, no, he was already down a little bit, so I do think I have complete game here. Oh, he does have the Magnemite, though, too. Banishing the Puppet, which is, you know, unfortunate. He had the Lubellion, but then I also have the Boral, right? So... and that's just GG's right there. So, yeah, we will go on to game 3, or game 2 here. One is against Dowil. I do have the timer, though, on this one, so I will put that over here. That's so cool. That's what I always wanted for him. I know, right? When I saw the Beansmith cards, I'm like, these just line up way too well. I'm surprised. Did they release new Fable support, or was that no? Yeah, in Blazing Vortex. Yeah, that was way better. Alright, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna commentate over the rest of this game. I'm just gonna let it play out for a second. Also, what did you guys think of that new Fabled support? Kind of crazy, right? Make sure to leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. We already hit 30 likes. We are gonna roast Deckless after this. So if you want me to roast your Deckless, make sure to post it in the Deckless chat of my Discord, and join my Discord if you have not already.
I haven't played Yugioh in so long.
As they say, no hand traps in the industry. Yeah, so at this point, I'm like, I know Wheels. Like, he's my mod. I'm like, we ain't got hand traps here. You know I'm unbranded, you know. Yeah, it's like, ooh, where are you on?
Right.
Plants?
Right?
Yep. It's a good card, I heard. Not
So
the
I've heard.
adventurer token. Guys, look at his adventure token. He's an adventurer. Yeah, it's a really cool adventure token.
All of my nerds will understand the
You guys
Skyrim
are gonna love
reference.
that for it.
Soul Kios.
I'm gonna zoom out the camera a little bit. You take your time and do what you must.
It is send, and it is.
Normal effect.
If you'd like to know the Fateful Adventure effect to add a monster.
You're good, bro. Is that the CR Faithful?
Yes.
Wow.
Knowledge is power. Yeah.
Same with the water.
Clean. What the hell? I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Doesn't Rai come in CR? Yeah, so at this point, I'm just kind of watching him do his adventure combo. I know he's on Plunder Patrol, and Plunder Patrol is typically a deck that, like, Branded doesn't exactly struggle with, but if they set up a huge board, it can be a struggle. Okay.
I will get my rights eventually.
One day.
Just like all the.
Alright, so we're Terminal Revenge 2. Here.
That's right. We are.
Skip ahead a little bit.
What's this? Set one pass.
Okay, then.
And then he does a stop one pass with Griffin.
I did not open anything else.
I presume this is an Earth. He didn't even see the Plunder cards, unfortunately. Oh, my mic's quiet. Yeah, no. He didn't even see Plunder cards at all, which was kind of crazy.
It is an Earth Fairy.
Okay, so they actually got the typing
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. No, it's an Earth Fairy 2000. And it is actually the Adventurer token. It just has
That's so cool.
It just has the Skyrim adventure. It just has the Skyrim Whiterun guard who says the line, "I used to be an adventurer like you, and then I took an arrow to the knee."
You have the best tokens between that and the Dandy ones, bro.
And I've got
Unparalleled.
my skip boots as well, so.
All of them for Go. You come strapped. You don't even play Go control.
No, not at all. I play Joey Wheeler in the anime formats. I need the scapegoats.
Alright,
Token game unrivaled.
unparalleled. We will go attempt a Gold Stark in the main phase.
You're good. Gold Stark's a pretty good one.
It's really nice. I wish it was. Some people are like, you should come back to 3. I'm like, don't do that for me. I'll attempt a Mercurier effect. I also love the Darth Nash 6 Yahoos in the background, like a freaking Mario character. Love him. Shout out Darth Nash 6. Fallen of Albaz or Fallen of Albaz itself.
You're good.
AK Albion, Albaz, Quammer Cartesia, or Ket.
Pretty good. Hey, so remember when we were talking about Mercury earlier? Yeah. Gold Stark, first action, 60 card deck. Life.
If you think first action Gold Stark is wild, wait until you see, first action Grass. Or Branded Fusion.
Right.
I will attempt a fusion deployment to special summon a monster that's mentioned on one of my fusion monsters in my deck. I will reveal the Grand Guignol wherever I might own one.
Somewhere in there.
Some people are like, reveal. It's like, I'm playing Branded. Do you really feel like when I'm just trying to rush through on DB? And I understand, but like, I'm doing it for the stream.
I'm trying to fit something else in my outfit.
Yeah, I actually.
It'd
be really funny to just run Branded without Grand Guignol.
Oh,
I'll attempt the Spriggan's Kit effect on
Just
normal
like
summon
being
once you have
convinced
summon
that card is bad for some reason.
Adds one and then places one up bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
It can be from Banished or Graveyard too. I have no targets.
That's funny.
It's cool because now when I banish when I get DD card on my one, I have an attempt to get it back.
It is really nice.
Yeah, speaking of DD Crow, guys, y'all are gonna see some funny shit. I will attempt Branded Fusion.
What do you place?
Oh, my bad.
You're fine.
Yeah, so now we are gonna go.
This card. Bam. Now you make it.
We're gonna put Useless Pod Desires to the bottom. Or no, I think it was like something. It was like another fusion deployment. And then he ashes my Branded Fusion. I have the called by though. But then he has Griffin Rider, right?
I don't feel like you have to deal with the Griffin Rider very often.
Only on occasions when I have to go against you, Wheels.
I'm glad I can be there for you.
Keeping my adventure knowledge up.
Exactly.
So at this point, I do have the Cartesia at least. And I do have the Thrust. I'm able to go Thrust, search anything since he does have a body on board at least. So that's like really, really, really good.
I mean,
You run 40 cards, right? So you have 6, 7, 8, 10. So that means you're at 30 and I'm at... Huh, that's not bad, isn't So at this point, I'm just going to still get the fusion deployment or duplication. A lot of the time, fusion duplication is still your best thrust target going second, which is pretty crazy, all things considered, because it like helps you reestablish a board after you've broken their board. There's just like not a lot of cards that do what, you know, it's basically says resolve branded fusion on your opponent's turn. We already have the brand fusion in the graveyard, so I figured that was just like the perfect thing. I could have gone maybe like deployment, but we already used it, so it's like, It's either that or talents, and I don't think talents is as good. Now I'm gonna set Brandon red. And then I pass to him. I Brandon red plus Albaz plus Gwignall, so that is a Mirror Jade. So it's not as bad as you could think, because like he needs like a lot of extension, and obviously if he bricked last turn, he's probably gonna not have too many extenders this turn. So at this point, I'm just going to go fusion deployment duplication in the main phase or in the draw phase, because he already has cards on board. So I can play around Imperm already, but he has the set Imperm. And I do have the branded in red to chain on the Imperm to then make a... I'm able to go brand red and make the Sanctifier. Or no, sorry, make the Mirror Jade. And then I'm able to go resolve Lubellion by fusing back Albaz and then the Cartesia that is in my graveyard to make a Sanctifier with a puppet in the graveyard, and then I'm immediately able to go Sanctifier. And he does have a Nibiru in hand, but that wasn't able to really do anything in that situation. So we can go game 2 here, which is kind of funny actually, because for some reason there's a card called Redbeard that really we have a tough time interacting with against Plunder Patrol on like really weak hands. He draws Crow like Imperm though, which is pretty decent, all things considered. He does just normal summon the Plunder Patrol Redbeard with a back row and then passes. And then he's able to then go to the Plunder Patrol ship off of the Redbeard, which is the unfortunate part, honestly, because like I can search out the branded fusion now, but because then I'm able to go Retribution, but then he has the Crow, and the Crow actually just destroys me here. I do have the kit, but he has the monster effect negate and lease. So I have to place him on better have the Plunder in hand, and he does. And at this point, that's just game. I'm going to scoop it up because there's not a whole lot of point in playing through that turn. Like he outed. Like this is why DD Crow is very devastating against Branded right now. Because a lot of the time you have to send Brand Fusion through the graveyard. So if you catch a Branded player sending it to the graveyard, you can really catch them with their pants down kind of situation. And so now we're in game 3 now. I'm going to go first action, go Shrouded Dragon, send Albaz. I've been finding myself wanting to send Albaz a lot more, which has been kind of really nice. I think sending Albaz ends up setting up Brandon Red, Brandon White plays a lot easier. It also makes it so like you're facilitating your puppet end board, or sorry, your end boards just in general better. And then I'm going to go special summon the Cartesia since I have an Albaz in the graveyard. The live stream started lagging, so I have to slow down the speed of it. So he also has a ghost spell in hand, so that's why he's reading Lost. He has to double check on that. I don't notice this at first. I probably should have. Because if he's asking about Lost on my turn, the only hand trap that negates is either Gamma or Ghost Spell. And I was like, I don't think he runs Gamma. But I was like, damn, if you have Gamma, you got it, bro. But obviously I have Lost under Branded Fusion, so that's still pretty good. And at that point, I can just go Branded Fusion. I do have, unfortunately, a Dead High Spirits, though. That was kind of the unfortunate part about this hand. He goes Ash. But then I'm able to go Cartesia effect to negate. And the Ash does hurt me here. I'm not gonna lie. My board gets way weaker when I get Ash here, so I don't have. At least I have the Cartesia plus Lost. Lost gives me so much more than I would have had with just the Cartesia. I'm not gonna lie. Because now I can go and search more extenders off of Lost. And I go, you know, chain link 1 Grand Guignol, chain link 2 branded Lost in order to, you know, and we are under brand loss protection, of course. So obviously he's not gonna be able to do anything. And through that, we are going to then end up searching out the Shrouded Dragon, which will give us a +1. And then I think what I'm going to do off of Guignol is I'm going to send... I don't know why I ended up shuffling my cards so much. And now I go Grand Guignol. I'm going to end up sending, I believe, Titaniclad. Yeah, Titaniclad is always very good. To send, it's usually my send off of, you know, Titaniclad, or sorry, Grand Guignol, or the High Spirits most of the time, just because it helps facilitate the Quem. I think having Quem in tandem with your branded cards is just super important right now, as it always has been. So I can go High Spirits here. And the High Spirits is going to be able to end up getting me into, obviously, the Shrouded Dragon, pitching the Shrouded Dragon. And then I'm going to be able to get the Albion. And then at that point, we're going to be able to go into the High Spirits. Will then get us, send us the Albion. And now you always want Albion and what? Albion and Titanclad in the graveyard. You know, those are your peanut butter and jelly basically for branded. If you have that plus like a Cartesia or an Albaz, you're doing just fine because you set, you know, it's gonna set up everything you need. And I'm playing through Ash here, which is pretty nice. Yeah, like I said, guys, the Lost did everything here because of Lost. I was able to get to High Spirits being live. It was really good. Like you guys saw that High Spirits. I was like, I need to make that live in order to play through Ash here. Like High Spirits always plays through Ash, so I'm able to then go into the end phase, go Quem effect, sending the Cartesia, since I already have an Albaz in the graveyard, so I can just get back one of my Cartesias to the hand. Anastasio, Mylonis, I'll be playing a 50-card variant without Super Poly. I just can't find the extra deck space for. I'm also a big fan of Stellar and Lad. You don't need the extra deck space. Like, I mentioned that in my deck profile. You just need Stepalia. You don't need Garura or Mud Dragon to run Super Poly this format. And now I'm going to set the Branded in red off of the Albion to then put the Cartesia back in hand, which will then basically just give me full combo. Especially since we're under Lost, we are going to be looking really good. And so I go in draw phase, I go Branded... Or no, I just show him that I went Branded in red, and I have the Mercurier. So that's a lot of interruptions. Obviously, Mercurier is not live, but it will be. So I just let him go first action. He goes Field Spell, and at that point, I'm like, I just gotta... Before he starts special summoning his Plunder cards, I've got to just start playing the game. And so I go Branded in red, targeting the Albaz. I could have targeted Shrouded Dragon, frankly. No, I didn't. No, I should have targeted the Albaz, which I did. And at that point, he just scoops because he has Ghost Spell plus Imperm. I think because he can't Ghost Spell the Branded in red. And then Imperm... I'm surprised he didn't Imperm that Guignol. That's the one thing I'm kind of surprised about, because he did have... yeah, he had that Imperm in hand. So if he Impermed the Guignol... Oh, he had a card set too? So maybe it wasn't that easy. Well, okay, I don't know. But, no, that was a different game. So, yeah, I end up winning that game. Lost another die roll, and will you guys be surprised to know that I lose my third die roll here versus Sam in the finals. Witchcrafters are a counter to Fabled, since not even Fabled can go minus enough to match Witchcrafters, says GZ1K. But with the new support, it actually looks kind of good, right? Fabled might be able to do stuff. Cat Sith Turbo, anybody? All right, so we're going to be going against Sam here. Marincess Legend. And I end up losing the die roll, which is always a scary prospect against Marincess, if you're going against Sam in particular. I don't think it's that bad if you're going against literally any other Marincess player, but Sam just plays the deck where he makes these super heavy boards. It doesn't really play too much hand traps, so, but when he does draw his hand traps, like, it's like the super heavy board on top of an Ash, which can be pretty good. And he goes blue tank, send the Mandarin. Really standard stuff for Marincess here, and then he's able to go Blue Angel targeting, I believe, the, or no, and then he mills a dive and then gets the blue tank back to hand. Then he's able to go Sea Angel into the link zone, and then he goes into the link, searching out the field spell. At which point he's going to activate field spells and then special summon out Pascalis and then special summon out Spring Girl. He's going to go into the Bahamut Shark so he can establish an anti-nib route, and then he goes into the Bahamut Toad, which he then links, or into the Toad, and then he links off the Bahamut for the Anemone. Anemone is going to use its Sprite Elf-like effect and revive out the Spring Girl, and then he's going to link off the Anemone and the Spring Girl into the Coral Reef, which is going to allow him to discard a card here soon to search out Marincess Wave. But he's going to first obviously use the field spell to equip 3, because this allows him to kind of just like facilitate a little bit better, I guess. Because the field spell is at once per turn, which is kind of crazy. He goes in Splash Mage here though before he goes Anemone, and then Splash Mage is going to summon the Sea Angel, and then he's going to get a Marbled Rock, which is pretty crazy. Like, he's going off here. Like, he's gonna done like 3 really nice pieces. And he searches the Basilima, which he's going to then to the graveyard and search out the Marincess Wave off of the Coral Reef. He's looking to probably go into Argonaut here because he wants to establish Argonaut is just crazy on top of this board, so he's able to go Spring Girl into into that card, the Bubble Reef card. Then he's able to go into Argonaut, which is a spell and trap card. Effect Negate, which is really good against a deck like Branded because it gets past cards like Branded Lost for that reason. So that's why I think his build has a really good time against Branded, because he runs 3 Marincess Waves, so his cards are always towers. And at this point, I'm kind of debating how to play out this turn, because he has a really good hand, or he has a really good board, so it's going to be nearly impossible to break this board, but if I'm able to do it, I'm able to do it. Then I go High Spirits. He's going to let that through. I'm going to send the Albaz. There isn't really a great play line here. I kind of have to rely on him misplaying. When I have to start High Spirits, it's not really great in this situation because High Spirits gets rid of card advantage at the moment. But I do get to search out, obviously, then a Kit. No, a Shrouded Dragon to try to, like, draw some sort of board breaker that helps me play into the board a little bit. Even Eclipse just 1-for-1s the Toad at least. It's just dealing with the Omni Negate of the Toad, and then Argonaut on top of the Marincess Waves he has. And then I go attempt to special summon Cartesia since I have an Albaz. You guys have been seeing me do that all day today. That's why I do love... that's also why I do love the High Spirits, because it always just like sets up the graveyard for Cartesia that you can just search off of High Spirits. So I do love playing the Bestial Luber with Saronir, because you can go High Spirits, send Bestial Luber, then special the card you just searched. Then go opening into Guiding Quem. He's going to go totally awesome on the Cartesia. And then he's going to set Cartesia. Now I only have 2 cards in hand at this point. I think I have a Mercurier too, so my hand... No, I have a Luber Red. So I just go... No, Foolish Burial. He's already used... he has not used Argonaut's effect, so at this point, I'm just going to go into the Branded Fusion. I don't even know why I'm playing it out at this point, but then he goes DD Crow on Branded Fusion, to be honest, so... Yeah, guys, you guys have been seeing me get DD crowed all the time now. To be fair, this is like the one locals I know where people actually made DD Crow. But it's a very good option against branded right now. So we're going to go into game 2 here. After doing some post side, I just put in my, fusion duplications and called it a day. Because the D barrier does not work. I do the the slow hand draw when it's really do or die. And then I have an imperm pass hand. That's the thing. My hand is so much better if I don't get impermed here. Because then if it goes through, I win the game. Because then I can search high spirits and it's just over. So, oh no, I don't. It's not even that kind of hand because I do have Branded Fusion. So maybe it's a bit better than that. Yeah, no, I go Branded Fusion anyway. And he does not have Ash Blossom here. And at this point, I'm trying to figure out what's in my hand. I can't quite remember because of the fact that I do start Branded Fusion. So that tells me that the rest of my, like, I don't have cart. I have a cart in my hand, but I don't have a deployment to special out the cart. Or like an Albaz, a way to Albaz engrave. Yeah, I have Thrust, High Spirits, and another spell that doesn't really do anything. I think like Brandon Red. At which point I'm going to send the Shroud and then the Albaz. This is like a super awkward line, I'm not going to lie. I just want to keep an Albaz in the graveyard for the Cartesia, so I felt like this was like what I had to do. I could have just done the 1-card gimmick lock, though, with Branded Fusion. I feel like that would have been better, but this line I feel like is just cleaner. And then we're going to go into the Mirror Jade. James Mayer, where do we send deck lists to be roasted and reviewed? In my deck list chat in my Discord, folks. So I go Mirror Jade, and then I go into Grand Guignol after the Mirror Jade. Grand Guignol is going to help establish my graveyard now. And there should be another Dark Dragon. No, High Spirits got pitched, so we finally get the Titan Cladding Graveyard. That's really all we need, because then we can do end-phase shenanigans with Mirror Jade to get the Quem to proc. It was either that or Albion, but I think Titan's the way better, because then, like, I can just get Albion in the end phase. So we're going to first go into Quem, and then we're going to go Quem Effect to send the we're going to probably send the card so we can get another draw. Another card back to hand. It's all about card advantage, folks. And then we get the Cartesia, and now we are able to do the fun stuff. Then we go Mirror Jade Effect. This kind of threw off Sam, too, because a lot of people don't think of Mirror Jade as, like, an extender, but it's one of the best extenders in Branded. That's why, like, it's such a good boss monster in general, because you're able to extend with it, break a board with it, like non-target banish, super utility. So I set the Brandon Red off of Albion now. I passed to him. He does have the Ghost Ball, though. Drawing that Ghost Ball is nice. Let's see how this goes. He goes Sign Up Mining, pitch Sign Up Mining. Yeah, I think he misplayed on the Ghost Spell. That's why I was like, okay. I still probably had enough to kill him, but he does misplay on this Ghost Spell here. Then he goes Normal Summon Blue Tang. I'm kind of just waiting for him to play the game at this point. And then I go Cartesia Effect to float the Mirror Jade. Then I can go Grand Guignol 1, Quem 2, Quem floating that Mirror Jade back. Because I do have the Branded in red, which does get me does give me Sanctifier, but he does Ghost Bell the Quem, which I would not have done. I think you always Ghost Bell the Branded in red when you know they have a Branded in red. I think Sam kind of acknowledged it right after the game. He was like, yeah, I should have just Ghost Bell the Branded red, and he had a lot of cards out. He didn't have a lot of cards in hand anymore, so I think I would have still won that game because I still had a few things, even if he Ghost Spelled the Quem. I still had Brandon Red. Or sorry, if he, I still have the Quem, which always triggers versus Marincess. To be fair, I already have the Mirror Jade, but... So at that point, we go into game 3, and this game 3 is insane, guys. We kind of save the best for last, because there's just an insane chain link that happens that we need to get to. Just the interactions are peak. Got 40 people watching still, guys. What's up? What's up? Make sure to leave a like on the video. Trying to hit 50 likes. Okay, so Sam starts Mandarin, then goes Sea Angel in order to search out Dive or the field spell. I can't tell which one. It's one of the Marincess spells or traps. Yeah, he's going to get the Battle Ocean, which allows him to equip, you know, up to 3 links to any of his Marincess link monsters, which is quite good. Then he goes into the anemone quite quickly, which then the blue tang mills the signet mining, but then the anemone is going to try to revive the spring girl. Oh no, the sea angel. And then Mandarin's able to use its other special summon effect because he runs 2 of them, which is pretty cool. That's something unique about his deck for sure. He sees Mandarin as a really good extender for the deck. Like, the deck has kind of like a dearth of bodies and kind of helps facilitate just like it not dying to not having enough bodies. And at this point, he said he basically misplayed, but the misplay ended up just being like 1 card in hand, so it wasn't that bad. Like, so it didn't make a difference in this game, and you guys will see. So it wasn't that big a misplay. And then the Marincess wave gets searched out, which is really crazy at this point. Such a good card against branded when they have like 2 of them especially, and he goes Argonaut, set 3 pass, and Argonaut's gonna be pretty formidable behind 3 back rows, so that's certainly something I have to kind of watch out for here. And I do have Albaz in hand plus like 5 spells, which 5 spells is pretty good going second, I won't lie. Alistair, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you. What's great is that it sets up Mirror Jade, Guardian Quem, even without running those dogmatic cards. Hell yeah. So at this point, I'm just like, wow, Argonaut's a custom card. And... excuse me. Falling asleep here. I have not gotten much sleep today. So I'm trying to decide my hand because I sided in that change of heart, and you guys are gonna see the change of heart do numbers here because I have to bait the Argonaut effect. If I don't bait the Argonaut effect, I am royally screwed. So I just kind of debate because I can go High Spirits, I can go Allure, but I know if I go those routes and get the Mercurier, he's just gonna Argonaut the Allure at that point. So I'm kind of debating on what to do at this point. I'm like, I could go Allure, I could go Change of Heart. I just think Change of Heart was the best decision here because it forces interaction before anything. And it gives me agency versus... Oh no, I go High Spirits because I don't think he's going to high... I just called him on his bluff, and I thought he was gonna... He wasn't gonna chain Argonaut to High Spirits, and he doesn't, so... I just end up pitching the Albaz, getting the Titan Clad, which is a lot of advantage, especially given the fact I get to search out a card. You guys see the Phantasme at the bottom of the deck. And at this point, I get the Mercurier for the Allure, but because of this, you straight up have to just go Change of Heart here. So I just like Change of Heart, see if he has a response, and then just change Argonaut to summon out the anemone. Which is still very good at the end of the day because those are all links. And then I go Allure with the Mercurier in hand. Which draws me into nothing really that great, but we do have the Banished Mercurier, which is going to allow us to search out a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from our main deck. What do I do for work? I landscape. I used to work at a bank, and I used to be a paralegal too. I've done those in the past. Landscaping's kind of in and out right now as I'm doing college. And then I can go Cartesia special summon Okay, so then I go kit effect to special summon the kit after resolving the allure. Since I've baited the Argonaut successfully, I now have to play through one Marincess wave. So this is the best play line that I have, and I use all my cards here. This is crazy. So I special summon the card, special summon the kit. So I have not normal summon. Good. And now I can go kit effect. He's going to chain the wave. I knew this was going to prompt the wave because you have to do this. It also gives you the protection, so you don't have to deal with that anymore. And I chain branded. And so at this point, I have called by branded in red and 2 other cards. I do have Cartesia, so I just chain the Cartesia because I'm like, okay, we'll better have the second wave then, or something like that. And he ends up chaining DD Crow on the branded and red. Oh, sorry. So this is what happens. So I go kit, he goes wave. I go, this happens so quick. And I go chain Cartesia, and then he chains the second wave. This is the second wave right here. So this is chainlink 3, or chainlink 4, the second wave. And so I chainlink 5 branded in red, targeting my Albaz that I put in the graveyard through High Spirits, which is just nuts. Because this wouldn't have been possible without that. Going second. And I go brand red, target High Spirits. And he goes Crow, targeting the Albaz I targeted with High Spirits on chainlink 6. And now we go chainlink 7, called by the grave on DD Crow. And that's how you do it. That's why he's the GOAT. That's why called by the grave is the GOAT. And I end up being able to fuse off with Cartesia now because, and also branded in red. So at this point, I don't have too many cards in hand. I kind of have to deal with what I got to deal with. And I'm just going to go into the Grand Guignol. Just deciding off of this. And then now I have to fuse with the Cartesia, which I do have 2 monsters in my hands, so I'm able to then do that with them if I want to. That's what I love about Cartesia. You don't have to resolve it with on field. So I send the Tragedy plus Albaz to just end up making the Lubellion, because that at least gets me another body, which is really nice. The name of the game here is to get to Branded Fusion at this point, since I haven't even resolved Branded Fusion. So I go Lubellion, and now I can go Tragedy effect to get the brand, or to get... Oh, I misplayed here. It should have been a Luber. This should have been a Luber, which is fine, because he doesn't have another Imperm, so this should be a Luber right here, then a Luber normal summon, get Branded Fusion. He doesn't have another wave, so it doesn't matter. Oh, wait. No. What I do here is... Okay, this was a sick chain link. I completely got this wrong. So you guys see, I search Branded Fusion off the kit, because the kit ended up... Because the kit's searching. That's what I'm negating, essentially, here with, dodging the original wave on kit. So kit is going to search out Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion is going to be in hand. And then I go Lubellion effect, hitching the Branded Fusion when I have a Tragedy in the graveyard, which I just sent off of the Branded Fusion, and I choose not to resolve. The Tragedy. This is where you guys got to see with Branded, a lot of the time you don't have to even resolve Tragedy, because what you can do here is, this is why I did, as I searched out the Branded Fusion, and then I was able to pitch it off of the I was able to pitch it then off of the Lubellion, and now I'm gonna be able to reset Branded Fusion. And I already put a card to the bottom off of kit, by the way, guys. I know my hand was kind of off screen, but I definitely did, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna go Branded Fusion here, just deciding what to make. I mean, because there's a lot of different things to do here. Oh no, Grand Guignol is gonna send here. Yeah, I forgot. We just resolved like Chainlink 7, so now I'm resolving Grand Guignol to then send the Albalinatus, which is just fine at that point. It's just more advantage. I was gonna send Albion, but I knew I'm getting Albion off of Branded Fusion here, and now I'm able to go Mirror Jade without even I have not resolved Branded Fusion yet, by the way, guys. This was all through Cartesia and Branded in red that I establish Mirror Jade plus Grand Guignol, and then I'm able to send the Rinbrum to then banish the Argonaut even though the anemone floats, I still need to hit the Argonaut because it is currently affected by monster effects. And it just has the biggest body. I don't have a clear line to Boral unless, I mean, he might still, I don't think he has any cards in hand too at this point. So I know Brand Fusion is going to resolve. So maybe I could have just bashed the anemone and then gone Boral, pop the field spell. But this way is a little safer in my opinion. So I go Branded Fusion, send the Cartesia and the Albaz, and then I'm able to make the Albion, which I have not resolved yet. Or no, I'm going to send Lubellion and Albaz. Because a Lubellion will be able to get me branded Lost Access and then also get the Albion in the graveyard, which will be really important for the follow-up if I'm unable to kill him this turn. And then I'm able to go Albion by banishing the Albaz plus the Rinbrom out of my graveyard so I can make a Dracostapelia. Which is kind of awkward. You don't love banishing Rinbrom all the time, but it was kind of my only really great option. It was either that or Boral, but I had no other Dark Dragon, so I would have had to banish the Albion, which is not what I wanted to do. And then Lubellion attack directly. Yeah, I'm going to be able to get a game on board here. Yeah, Iron P.